Well, you know, we as a city and a community are very good at doing a lot of things. And a lot of things we do very, very well. But the one thing we don't do very well is tooting our own horn about all the good things that we do and all that we do here in the city of Palmdale. So what I want to do is, well, I guess part of the reason, maybe part, is because we hear negative things or things that just aren't true about our community. And if we don't know the facts or the reality, we tend to maybe, well, that might be true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's sometimes at our detriment. Truth of the matter is we have a lot to be positive about here in the city of Palmdale and in the Antelope Valley. So today, myself and our city manager, Jim Purtee, we're going to set the record straight on some of the myths that aren't based in fact. Right, Jim?
Absolutely, but before we get started, today is National Selfie Day, if you didn't know that. And so I have my selfie stick. And anybody who has a phone, if you can take your own selfies while I'm taking your selfie, we can do a selfie.
Hey, say hi.
All right.
Here's my wig.
Get him in there.
There you go. Yes.
Over here.
Over there.
Thank you all for participating in National Selfie Day. Okay, so that's right, Mayor. One of the reasons I was so excited to come to work here in Palmdale was frankly because of all the positive things that were going on. And that was 3 years ago, and we've put everything on steroids since then. So today we're going to do a little bit of myth busting as that beautiful slide. I just love that picture. I don't know, I could be beret guy and Gumby at the same time. We're going to do some myth busting. We're going to set the record straight, like our first myth. Myth number one, Mayor, the crime rate is so high in Palmdale.
That's a tough one. The fact, crime is the lowest it's been in decades. Crime rate in 1996 was 467. Our crime rate in 2017 was 210. Our numbers are looking good for 2018, and our goal is to get under 200. It's going to be our goal for this year. We can make it. I know we can make it. That's amazing considering our goal back in 2008 was to get below 300. Remember, the Antelope Valley kind of came together. We're going to get a control on crime, and our goal was 300, and we hit that as expected, but we've gone so much more. So that was the benchmark. That was what a benchmark for what is considered a safe city. So you know that Palmdale has a crime rate that's lower than Carson, 296, San Dimas, 234, Westlake Village, 263. So our rate of 210, not so bad. Then why the perception? Did you know our city of Palmdale was named 35th safest city in California by safehome.org? So again, why the misperception? Well, social media, and people have access to more information, but it is true, is it in context? And that's maybe the key right here. Negative self-talk, quite frankly, needs to stop. Our success is due to continued partnership between our sheriff's department, city staff, and our residents. And we focus on crime prevention. We have for 25 years. Those relationship and programs such as Neighborhood Watch, Business Watch, Park Watch. And so back in 2007, we took a stand to stop the rising tide. The sheriff went to bat for us and got us the resources and the staff needed to get a handle on crime. When we as a community need to continue to advocate for these resources, that's when we came together. So recently, city managers of Palmdale, Lancaster, Santa Clarita showed unity as the region and recently met with our sheriff to make the case for those same resources. We need to maintain those resources necessary to keep our profile. And so we need you to help us advocate for that as well. So it's like any organization. We all go through tough times, and sometimes we, cut in areas we don't want. So our Antelope Valley is going to do better if we get everybody pushing in the same direction. So now, let's take a moment here and hear from our own Sheriff Captain Dennis Neer on his thoughts about public safety efforts.
A couple of ways the community can help us out. First and foremost, If you see something, say something. It sounds simple, but it's critical in terms of reporting suspicious activity to the Sheriff's Department. Also, as a community member, you can become involved with your Sheriff's Department. We have community volunteers on patrol. We have explorers, which are really our future leaders in our community. We have reserve deputies, and we have many community partnerships that we have established. Some of those community partnerships include working with the City of Palmdale on neighborhood watch programs. If you are not a member of a neighborhood watch program, please consider doing so, because there are over 400 neighborhood watch programs within the City of Palmdale, and it's you as a citizen making a difference by working with your local law enforcement. And as the architect of community policing said many years ago, Sir Robert Peel, what he said is the police are the public and the public are the police. And it's really all of us working together, having a vested interest in the success of our community to make Palmdale a better place.
All right. Thank you, Captain Neer. That was National Night Out, ladies and gentlemen, at Dominic Massari Park. We had our best ever, and we were working with the community out there to reclaim that park, and we've done a pretty successful job collectively. So you might think, what can you do? Think about becoming part of the Palmdale Sheriff Boosters. Number 2, be part of a neighborhood watch or business watch, or both. Those things work, and they're efforts that have proven over time to make a big difference. So let's move on to our next myth. Myth number 2 is, there are no jobs in Palmdale. So what do you say about that, Jim Purtee?
Oh, Mayor. There are more jobs in Palmdale than people to fill them right now, especially at Plant 42. And Northrop Grumman's B-21 Raider, that we still can't announce yet, is ramping up. They can't hire people fast enough for their invisible program. And AFAB, our award-winning program, is helping train workers as production ramps up. So that's located at our airport terminal right now, and it's a partnership with AV College, Northrop, and the city to train workers, and we have a 97% placement rate. So if you've got some youngster sitting on the couch with nothing to do, get them enrolled in our program. It's an 8-week program, and 97% chance they're going to get a career-level job, either in aerospace or in Kinkashario, BYD, and some of the other manufacturers in town. So Lockheed is hiring, X-Planes, and other secret programs, Kinkashario. And bubbling up under all that are construction jobs that will be forthcoming when the housing boom returns, and the commercial boom is already starting up. We have a housing shortage, and we're close to that tipping point. Construction jobs for new hotels and commercial projects are out there. And then coming soon, our capital improvement projects that we'll talk about in more detail later, with $1 billion in the pipeline for regional transportation projects that will create jobs and change the way we move around. Which leads us to the next myth. Mayor, the roads suck in Palmdale.
Wow. Pretty brutal. Well, it's true though, right? Well, partially. But help is on the way. We have over 500 miles and 94 million square feet of roads to maintain in our city of Palmdale. On an average, our roads are currently rated at a 61 overall, or a D+. It costs us $13 million a year to stay on top of it and to keep our roads up. But this year we have $11 million to work with. Now, this is where this gas tax came in, approved by our California legislature. It's filling the $2 million gap to help us stay on top of our critical need for roads and raise the standards of those roads too, by the way. The voters are going to decide this November if this is a good investment of their tax dollars. So it's something to pay attention to. Now, crews are out there right now doing cap sealing and resurfacing all across our city as part of that long-term plan. In fact, our council was presented with a sustainability plan earlier this year to deal with all the infrastructure issues. Funding obviously will be the key. And lastly, we have lots of roadway projects coming thanks to Measure R, Measure M, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Now, moving from our roads to another myth. There's nothing to do in Palmdale. Jim Purtee, what are you going to do about that?
You're fogging up my goggles, Mayor. We've been expanding and adding to our special events over the past few years, and the key has been enhancing our city events and partnering with local groups to create a synergy. So here's what the city has done just over the past few months. Music in the Parks at Palmdale Square and Dominic Massari. An amazing summer concert series, and if you missed Metalachi,
Wow.
you missed a lot. Rock on, Metalachi. Family movie nights. Now, why is it that you can take a movie that you can sit in your living room and watch on Netflix, but you put it at the amphitheater and 5,000 people show up with blankets and kids and so forth? I think the only thing missing, people have been asking me, can we serve beer? It's like the kids go to sleep, we're going to put the adults to sleep as well. And then, of course, there was our brand new fireworks show, the longest fireworks show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so we set the bar so high, it's going to be tough next year, but, you know, expectations.
We're going to make it.
And then Dry Town debuted Splash Theater this year, and it's open on weekends through September 9th. And for some reason, they didn't approve my idea, which was to play Jaws at the first Splash Theater. So coming up this fall and through the holidays, we have Kaleidoscope, October 13th at the Amp. And Kaleidoscope is a celebration of the arts in every form, including the art of the brew and the art of the vine. And so, it's a good place to spend your afternoon on October 13th. We have a full moon tour at Joe Davies Air Park. And then at the Playhouse, we've got a packed schedule this year with crime scene theater. So after you go to Kaleidoscope, have some drinks, and go to Full Moon at the air park, and then check out the crime scene. Dracula the musical.
It is election
And then
time.
the lighter fare. Yeah, it is election time. Lighter fare. Now you made me miss my place. Santa's Workshop and Open House. Sing along with Santa. Christmas with the Alley Cats. And if you didn't see the Alley Cats at our fireworks show, great doo-wop group, a lot of fun. And then Backtrack and Bites benefit concert. And finally, West Coast classical holiday performances. And then here's what's coming up with our community partners who put on just as many events. We've had the Kiwanis Rubber Duck Race at Dry Town on August 31st.
Yeah.
I hear it clap back there.
You could be $1 million winner.
You buy your duck. AV International Multicultural Festival on September 8th at Palmdale Square. Say that 3 times fast. 9/11 Remembrance at AV Mall. The City of Hope Together for Hope Walk on September 15th, the amphitheater. When I had somebody ask me, what day is the 9/11 Remembrance? So if you didn't get that, see me later. I might have a job for you. Vets for Veterans, 9th Annual Classic Auto and Motorcycle Show on September 16th, Palmdale Square. Grace Fest, a 2-day gospel festival, September 21st and 22nd at the Amp. But wait, there's more. Festival de la Raza, October 20th at Palmdale Square. AV Community Resource Fair, October 27th, Palmdale Square. The AV Wall will be back again November 8th through the 13th at the amphitheater. And that's an amazing thing to go see, that scale wall of the Vietnam Memorial Wall. The American Heart Association Heart Walk on November 10th at Pelona Vista. American Classic Christmas is back for the what year, John?
American Classic, this will be third, fourth.
Third year.
Mrs. Claus, third. Okay, we'll stay.
Third year. Mrs. Claus knows. And then the Chamber Christmas Parade. Come on, Chamber.
Yeah.
But there's so much work between now and then. Only 132 shopping days till Christmas, just to let you know. And so that's on December 8th, Highland High to the AV Mall. And on top of these events and programs, we have some of the best parks and amenities of any city anywhere. And they're about to get some upgrading thanks to a generous donation by the Paul George Foundation. The basketball courts at Desert Sands, Marie Kerr, and Corson will be refurbished. And his foundation is hoping to match the grant funding we're going after to revamp Dominic Massari. And so if you don't know who Paul George is, raise your hands if you know who Paul George is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So Paul George plays for the Oklahoma Thunder, It was almost a later. It's just $40 million short. It's 40 million good reasons to stay in Oklahoma. But his heart is in Palmdale. He grew up here. He played at Dominic Massari. He played at Pete Knight High School. He came out with a tennis shoe named the Palmdale that has desert colors on it. And he wants to do fundraisers to bring money back to Palmdale and refurbish the parks that he played in as a kid. That's a wonderful thing. In addition to our awesome parks, we have several Class A bike trails. And we have 3 pools, soon to be 4, when we open Corson Pool next summer. And I was talking to our fee consultant we hired, that is looking at our parks and so forth, to look at our park fees. And he said that in his entire career, he has not seen as many water features in one city with a population like ours ever. And so he was just amazed at the amount of pools and aquatic facilities that we have for our residents. So I think that's a great thing.
Yep.
Then we have our equestrian center, our newish dog park. It's already celebrated a year anniversary, and I think we had Woofstock not too long ago. So,
No.
woof, woof. And then walking, biking along the aqueduct, weekend programs at our parks and libraries. There's a lot to do in Palmdale. So now, I think we've dispelled that myth. I've definitely fogged up my goggles by now just thinking about it. So let's go to myth number 5. Mayor, why is it the city decides where restaurants and hotels are going to be built?
Well, we want them close to where we live, right? No, the facts. You decide where to spend your dollars in Palmdale. So cities don't tell businesses where to open. Businesses do, based on where they believe they can be successful. Revolutionary concept, free enterprise. Wow. What cities do is establish zones for commerce. And we've done a great job of that in Palmdale so far. Now look around at the 10th Street West Corridor, Main and Main as far as retail in the Antelope Valley, 47th Street, what we call the Miracle Mile. Remember what it looked like 20 years ago? The Pearland Market was it. Look at it today, because there's a lot more to come. The Miracle Mile is about to see some additions, ladies and gentlemen. But the bottom line is you create the demand of where to spend your money. They look at the statistics, and it drives retailers to look at locations, certainly in our city. Since we did our last State of the City, we've had quite a few places have opened, such as Home Goods, Olives Mediterranean, Nihao, expanded to offer poke. And speaking of poke, we opened Pink Fish Poke, Poke to Me, and Poke Junction. My gosh.
We're in a pokey-rich environment, Mayor.
See an ordinance coming along to prevent all this poke. Kraken Chicken and Waffles, Waffle Kitchen, Don Chato, Home 2 Suites, and Elements Hotels, Imagine City, and Turner's Outdoor. And we've got more coming, but most of them, well, I can't tell you what's happening, what's about to happen. It's still in the works, but soon you will know. But we just did have an opening of a La Palma Mexican Grill on Palmdale Boulevard. California Fish Grill is opening next to Aldi's at the end of August. We have 2 or 3 new hotels planning to open in Palmdale. More. These hotels love our city, including one name you might be familiar with, the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott. So there are 2 new shopping centers planned on the east side of Palmdale. I would say close to S and close to R and close to 47th, but I don't want to give you an exact location. But there is demand out there, and there are tenants that want to be in that market. So there is one on the west side as well, plus some existing zoning that's being developed as we speak, certainly in the Rancho Vista area. So there's one new one in the works on top of that. We have a new kidney center. It's opening off of Palmdale Boulevard. We also got 370,000 square feet of commercial industrial manufacturing space on the Fairway Business Center for this type of manufacturing. Now, this is all in support of this new program we can't speak to, but there's lots of subcontractors that want to be a part of our market. They want to be part of this. Well, this could be a 20, 30-year run, ladies and gentlemen, on this program. So our opportunity to get small business is huge, and so the industrial manufacturing, we think, could be the next wave for our city. Now, there are all kinds of things that bring businesses and jobs to a community, and even more hotels and restaurants. We're going to give you those details as soon as we can. And with that, I think we need to move on to our next myth. Myth number 6. We'll never have an operational airport in Palmdale, Jim Purtee.
Yeah, you're right, Mayor. In fact, we're going to have 2 airports, cargo and passenger air. We've never been closer to having a fully operational, long-term, not 18-month, airport. Our lease with the Air Force has been signed, and for the first time in 30 years, we've gotten our airport back from Los Angeles.
Yay.
And the demand from our Plant 42 partners is there. It's being driven by our defense contractors. They need to move people from Melbourne, Florida, for Northrop, from Fort Worth, Texas, for Lockheed, and from Seattle for Boeing. All of their projects and programs are scaling up, and they're all happening at Plant 42. So cargo will be first, most likely, using existing runways near our air terminal. And a passenger terminal will be built to serve commercial airlines. We recently took part in a national P3 airport summit where we met with several airlines and hired a consultant to help us develop our airport master plan. We are ready to roll. And something else we're getting ready to roll on, but it also has a myth associated with it, which is, Mayor, we don't need high-speed rail.
Wow. The fact is, high-speed rail is coming. It's going to be a huge economic boost to our region. We have 2 high-speed rail systems looking to converge here in Palmdale. And we're becoming basically an interstate hub, the only interstate hub, certainly in the state of California. But once we get to Vegas, we open up to a national network that's being planned as we speak. So we're close to signing a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Express West. This is a public-private partnership train that will connect us to Las Vegas. And this will also connect to the National High-Speed Rail System under design. Their plan is to be operated in Palmdale by 2025. The California High-Speed Rail is expected to be functional in Palmdale by 2033. But constructions and jobs will begin many years before. These systems are going to give us greater connectivity to the LA Basin, which means more opportunities and more economic growth. It also means that no more 2 to 3 hour commutes. People will get their lives back. They can coach their kids' teams. They could volunteer. They could participate. Or just live life. Think about it. 30 minutes to downtown LA. 90 minutes to Las Vegas. 2 hours to San Francisco. I'm on that train, ladies and gentlemen. High-speed rail isn't just about train engines, ladies and gentlemen. It's an economic engine, and we will be on board soon. So let's move on to our next myth. Myth number 8. It takes forever to get anything done in Palmdale.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that one. And when we split these up, I got the short end of the stick. He's the mayor. Well, Mayor, it's partially true. But we've been dealing with an antiquated general plan, and that's about to change. This year, with the council's approval, we will embark on a complete revision to our city's general plan. It was last updated in 1993, and a lot has changed since then, like, the internet, businesses like Amazon and Uber. They've completely disrupted the market and changed the way cities need to operate. And the time is right for a fresh new approach to how the city will grow and look in the future. The general plan is an outline that guides us as to who we are and how we will grow. And we'll be looking at all of our old stale codes and revamping those as well. It'll be a substantial investment, $2 million for a general plan, $2 million on transit-oriented development transportation, $500,000 on an Avenue Q study, $400,000 on an Avenue S study, $4.9 million, all of which will help us formulate our general plan. And so far, we've obtained $3 million in grant funding to pay for that, and we're looking for more money. Public participation is one of the keys to the overall success of any general plan update, and therefore the city will be hosting several workshops, meetings, and other outreach opportunities beginning in 2019 to keep residents informed and solicit feedback. We're also going to form a general plan advisory committee, which is why we invited all of you here today. That committee will be comprised of 9 community representatives. A recruitment process will be held between now and the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019 to establish this 9-member committee that's really critical to the success of the general plan. So if you want to be a part of the future of our city, get in touch with our planning division at 267-5200, or just see Mark sitting right over there. That's why we introduced him earlier. There's no free lunch, Mark. So you can be added to that interest list and participate in formation of what this city is going to look like for decades to come. So now let's go on to our next myth. Mayor, all these taxes that have gone through, Measure M, Measure R, Measure H, the AV does not get its fair share of these taxes. What do you have to say about that?
Well, it shows I didn't get to cherry pick every easy issue. Wow. Fact is, though, we're getting millions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. First, a little background. Measure R was passed by the voters in 2008, and Measure M was passed in 2016. They're providing critical funding for important projects that will have significant impacts on our lives. Funding from Measure R will help with projects on SR 138 and the 14th Freeway, such as widening the 14th Freeway from Rancho Vista Boulevard to Palmdale Boulevard. We were getting some, that's where a bottleneck exists, so we've just approved that, I think, at our last council meeting. Widening and interchange improvements on the 14 and Avenue N. Widening 10th Street West near the on and off ramps of the 14, another place where we get those same bottlenecks. And also in areas in the 138 and 14 freeway that connects to Palmdale Boulevard. It's another place we need to improve the flow of our traffic. Construction is going to begin in 2019 and will be done by 2021. Measure M funds are going to help some of the Measure R projects and many others in our city. One project will improve the southbound off-ramp on the 14 at Palmdale Boulevard. And any of you get off on that exit, you know it needs upgrading. Another project will be the study of the areas of the 14 back up during the commute and come up with some funding to make those types of improvements. And that's really all the bottlenecks on the 14 freeway. That study is underway as we speak. Measure R will also help fund Avenue R Complete Streets project. So that's the latest and greatest would be Sierra Highway to 20th Street East. And we're going to do a complete street remake of that street. And it should make a huge difference. Travel lane gaps, so we're going to close those. We're going to create 2-way left turn medians. We're going to add some bike lanes. We're going to add bus turnouts and increase our public transit access. So we've gotten $500 million investment for Metrolink improvements in that Measure M. And from AV to Los Angeles is going to make a big difference. Once we reduce the times of that Metrolink, we're going to see more and more people are going to utilize that service. When you can get there by train quicker than you can drive, you're going to see a paradigm shift. And so that's where that $500 million is going to come from. And lastly, Measure R funds will help us plan our transit centers. We're doing a major TOD effort in our downtown, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to give us an opportunity to redo our downtown. It's probably the area that really needs that type of focus. So you're going to see that transit center, which is going to evolve and become a centerpiece and hubs of connectivity with our high-speed rail projects. So when you combine the $200 million for Measure R that we were able to distribute along the 14 freeway, between Lancaster, Palmdale, and even the county. We also have Metrolink, that $500 million we talked about. We have another $85 million we're just going to split up between the cities and the county, our partners in the North County, and we're going to use that for a call for project matches. So it's going to give us an opportunity to do more projects. So we have that going. So it's all we have planned in the last and next 10 years, and it's going to be, well, it adds up to $1 billion right there. Our job is to maintain our focus to make sure we realize that $1 billion investment so we can move our people and goods much quicker. And that's kind of the name of the game. So the idea we're not getting our return on the measure is really kind of ludicrous when you add it all up. We are getting and keeping our share. Now, speaking of ludicrous, so is our next myth. There is no art and culture in our city of Palmdale, Jim.
Now, here we go again. So there is a vibrant arts community in Palmdale and in the Antelope Valley. Public art is on the rise. We as a city are embracing it and the concept that public art uplifts and defines our community. Then what do you say about these? Little things like the Eiffel Tower, the Bean in Chicago. I guess you already did the Statue of Liberty. I'm just following your script, John. We recently unveiled Facing the Sun at City Hall and are looking at other options. So the Facing the Sun project, everybody said, why did you tear down that beautiful fountain and put up a giant flower? Well, you have to go see it to understand what it means, but it's actually a merger of both art and technology when you really figure out what that's all about. And the fountain had to come down because the kids chasing Pokemon were climbing all over it and they almost knocked it down on themselves. So now they can chase Pokemon around our new sculpture. We're hosting a mural painting contest at Marie Kerr Rec Center. And we host a yearly Generations art contest and a Walk on Words program, which you see popping up around the city. Our signature fall event, Kaleidoscope Music and Art Festival, dedicated to the art in all its forms, including, like I mentioned before, beer and wine. And something we're just now announcing that we're looking at creating a new children's museum at the City Hall complex dedicated to STEAM, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics, and providing a location for the next generation to be inspired for bigger and better things. So stay tuned for more details. So Mayor, myth number 11, Palmdale's not doing anything about the homeless problem.
Ooh, well, that's a good one. We actually have a very comprehensive homeless plan, and our goal of zero homelessness is within reach, ladies and gentlemen. Homelessness is a complex issue, obviously, but in Palmdale we have a long history of working with our partners, such as SAVES, nonprofit organizations, and our faith-based community to help provide the needed resources to make this happen. We did a citywide survey earlier this year. We interviewed hundreds of people, some homeless, some near homeless, some to get, so obviously to get the root cause of the issue and to come up with some solutions. Now, from our survey, we are focusing on 4 areas: homelessness prevention, creating affordable housing, strengthening the collaboration between local service and community providers, and increasing communication efforts to promote information about the help that is available. Now, SAVES and our local partners offer service to prevent homelessness and to restore people to where they want and need to be. We are building housing for homeless veterans. This is our Corson Colony East and West projects over by Corson Park, with amenities such as art studios, an amphitheater, and an art gallery, well, and the pool. They're helping rebuild that pool. And so that's great. Habitat for Heroes, they're going to be providing 56 owner-occupied duplexes and common areas for veterans to own their own property. So we have a way to kind of move people through a transition. Now, according to the most recent numbers provided by the county, our numbers are improving, and we expect to continue as we move forward in this collaboration. Our plan is available online if you want to check it out. And now, with that, we're going to our final myth. We saved the best for you, Jim Purtee.
Thank you.
Palmdale and Lancaster don't work together. Answer that myth.
The cactus curtain. Here we are again. Well, Mayor, both cities work together quite well on a number of projects. I mean, you'll hear a lot from the politicos about how the 2 cities can't work together, how the 2 mayors don't get along, and blah, blah, blah. The facts are very different. The staffs of our 2 cities work very well together on a number of different projects, such as our emergency services. Both cities work closely and often conduct exercises and planning efforts to increase our readiness, and we include the school districts, water and power districts, the sheriff's department, the fire department, Edwards Air Force Base, and various county agencies in our emergency operations. Public Works has several projects that involve Palmdale, Lancaster, and LA County, where coordination of work and funding helps everyone. There's currently a project going on Avenue M, north of Plant 42, that's going to start in the next month, and that's a split 50-50 between the county and the city of Palmdale. After both cities took responsibility of sewer services from LA County back in 2008, we organized and scheduled mutual training sessions and seminars with each other. Last year, our combined staff participated in training on gas detection and monitoring, sewer overflow response, and recycled water site training. In addition, we regularly exchange product and equipment manufacturer information with each other and schedule equipment demonstrations and exchange product performance information. Building and safety staffs from both cities meet and hold joint training. The purchasing departments of both cities work together, and the county hold workshops to help local businesses learn to bid for government contracts. Animal care and control is another area. We've been working with the city of Lancaster and the city of Santa Clarita to assess the impact of the county proposal to increase the cost of our current service contract by 241%. So it's going to take cities working together to figure this out with the county. We recently entered into a JPA with Lancaster, Santa Clarita, and the county for transportation projects that will affect our region. And the two cities host joint softball tournaments for club teams that travel through our region. When Lancaster was working to become a charter city, we shared information with them to help them navigate that process. And there are many more examples. I could keep you here all day, but just know that when you hear voices saying that the cities don't cooperate, those voices are wrong. The Antelope Valley is fortunate to have two great cities doing great things both together and individually. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
All right, Jim Purtee, good job. I want to thank you. I agree with, well, these myths. It's important we revisit myths on occasion just to pop the bubble. So the future of Palmdale, certainly Lancaster, the Antelope Valley is brighter than it's ever been, ladies and gentlemen. Job growth, transportation are addressing tough issues collectively and sometimes independently. It helps when all of us can keep a positive focus, a good self-image, and the confidence of knowing we're heading in the right direction. Our local businesses will benefit greatly from all that is coming down the pike, from high-speed rail to improvements on the 14 to new housing to help deal with the demand in our growing economy. Now, you can be a part of this growth and part of the story that we can tell people, entrepreneurs, visitors, and everybody that wants to come to Palmdale for business, pleasure, or travel, perhaps to set down their own roots. We have a lot going for us, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to convey that to our new partners, our new residents. How we embrace them and giving them good, accurate information really spells the difference between whether they want to stay or not. So these are areas that we can make a difference as a city. So we do have a lot going for us. You can help by setting the record straight. If people want to talk negatively, ask for the facts, because that usually stops them. So with that, it's been great busting these myths and some of these myths that hold us back. With that, I'm going to say thank you. Jim, you have any final words?
No, thank you, Palmdale. If you just remember a few things, Metalachi and Pokey, I think you've pretty well followed along with the whole thing. So thanks for being here, and we'll turn it over to the chamber.
Yeah.